Hey there, folks. My name is Dazer, and it's time for another. Whoa, wait, hang on a second. There's a name for this now. Well, there was a suggestion made. Hey there, folks. My name is Dazer, and welcome to the Monday Days Log, where to find all the info on all things current and future on Dazer and gaming. That's a long title. Somebody make a title sequence for that. I don't know. Somebody get on that. I don't know. Anybody good at animating? Anyway, okay, so thank you, Dead One Roland, for the suggestion on the title for the show. I appreciate it. Thank you. Anyway, moving on. Okay, so last week was E3. So there's a lot of video game news going on right now. And actually, somebody posted on the last Q&A video, ironically, this works really well for this week. So their question was, is there a game you really want to play? And what games are you excited for when they're released? So thank you, Drago Dylan, for that question. That works perfectly with E3 just happening. So I've written down a whole list of all the games I saw at E3 that I'm really excited for. And then a game that I really want to play. There's a lot. There's a lot of games I really want to play and don't have all the time to play them anymore. So the list would go on forever. I have a whole lot of games that I haven't even touched, and I really would like to. I actually keep a catalog of all the games that I own. And last I checked, I was somewhere around 600 or 700 games. So I have a lot of titles that I own and actually haven't played. And so, yeah, there's a lot. So it would take, this video would be like an hour long if I were to list all the different games that I want to play that I haven't yet. But anyway, so one game, okay, so let's see. One game I really want to play and haven't. This actually works. The Uncharted series. I have it. I haven't played it yet. God of War 3. I have it. I haven't played it yet. A lot of PS3 exclusives just because I got a PS3 like for Christmas last year, and I just haven't had time to play any PS3 exclusives except for Last of Us. So we'll go with that. So anyway, let's move on to E3 because oh boy, there's a lot of stuff to talk about. I was really happy with E3 this year. I don't know how you guys felt about it. I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions in the comments about what you thought about the E3 this year. But I thought it was so much better than last year. So much better. Leaps and bounds better than last year. Last year was just, it felt like this big disaster for Microsoft, especially. Nintendo was and then Sony obviously was kind of like the hero of the show or whatever with, you know, everything that happened with the PS4 versus the Xbox One. And this year, I think Microsoft did a great job to try to win people back. Obviously starting off by taking Kinect away from the Xbox One. I think that was a smart business choice, finally. I'd been predicting that since they originally announced the Xbox One, that they were going to make a Kinectless version. And everybody's like, I don't know, man, they seem pretty hell-bent on you having that. I'm like, no, they're going to do it. And lo and behold, they did. And it's $100 cheaper. Same price as the PS4. Mind-blowing. Who would have thought? Anyway, so I was pretty happy to see that they're finally getting away from that. There was not a single mention of Kinect during the Microsoft conference, and I thought that was the funniest thing. There was one game that was showed that looked like it used Kinect, but other than that, yeah, there was like no Kinect talk at all. So I was really happy to see that they were really focused on the games. I mean, it's almost like they weren't selling many units of the Xbox One or something, and they needed to entice people to get an Xbox One. Anyway, so there were a lot of games at the Xbox conference that I was really excited to see. I think, and this is true of both Sony and Microsoft, I've been really happy to see how much support they're giving to indie developers. I think both Microsoft and Sony did a great job showing that they support indie development and that they want indie developers on their platform. There were a lot of really cool indie titles that were shown for both conferences, and I'm really excited to see what is going to happen with indie development, because I feel like while the AAA games are fun and great and really well polished, they all start to blend together, in my opinion. And I feel like the indie games are what really shine as, here is true new IP. These are the real titles that are not like anything you've ever seen before. And that's why I'm a big supporter of indie games. That's why I've always been a big supporter of indie games. Whoa, my camera. Sorry, I'm trying to adjust my light here so it's not quite so intense. That's why I've been a big indie supporter for years. So I was really happy to see that. Sony's conference, I think, went really well. I think since they were 2 hours instead of like an hour and a half, they obviously used a little more time for certain things like PlayStation TV and other things that weren't necessary, but were interesting to hear about. PlayStation TV honestly kind of sounds cool. To have a little device that's basically a PS Vita, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 2, and PlayStation 1 all in this little thing. And that was kind of cool. Although it sounds like it's just going to be streaming. I don't know. I really wasn't paying too much attention, but the idea of it sounded kind of cool. Other than that, the Nintendo Direct, I didn't see it. I watched parts of it afterwards, and I thought it was a pretty cool thing. I loved Iwata versus Reggie. I thought that was pretty funny. And the fact that they got Robot Chicken, of all people, of all teams, to make the intro for it, I thought that was really bizarre. But to see Nintendo kind of embrace that, I thought was pretty cool. Because it's not something that I would typically associate with Nintendo, because Robot Chicken obviously does a lot more kind of adult humor. So it was interesting to see that. So anyway, Nintendo, I think everybody just did really well. EA, I think, was probably the weakest press conference of the entire thing. EA had a lot of kind of just like early looks at things, and then a bunch of sports games. And don't get me wrong, I just don't play a lot of sports games. So if you guys play sport, if one of you, if you play sports games and you're really into sports games, great, more power to you. It's just not my thing. I've played a few sports games over the years, and there are a couple that I like, but for the most part, I'm not the biggest fan. So maybe that's just me. I know there are a lot of people who really love getting a sports game every single year, and it's just like, it's the same game as last year. But who knows? Ubisoft, Aisha Tyler. Oh man, she's the best. It seems like the reaction to Aisha Tyler is so polarizing. It's either you absolutely love her or you absolutely hate her. And I'm on the absolutely love her side, and there are people, obviously, I have a lot of friends who are on the absolute hatred for her, but I think she did great. She seemed a little more reserved than usual this year, which, even saying that's weird because she was still pretty out there. But yeah, Aisha was great. Ubisoft in general seemed to be doing pretty well. No Rayman announcement. I was a little upset about that. I've really enjoyed the new Rayman games, so broke my heart a little bit. But anyway, so let's move on and talk about the actual games that I'm excited for, and all the games that I wrote down on this list. Or at least that are notable games that I want to talk about. So there's games I want to talk about, games I'm excited for. The number one game that I saw, well, no. There are a couple of like games that this is how I'm going to list. Okay, I'm going to have games that I am so excited for, I can't like handle it. There are games that I thought looked really cool, and then there are games that I just want to talk about because either they're interesting or something. So, game that I'm so excited for, I can't handle it. No Man's Sky. I can't wait for that game to come out. I'm going to like that. I might have to make a game. Just, I don't know. Like, my channel might be a No Man's Sky dedicated channel. I don't. The game looks so freaking cool. I love the overall, okay, so those of you who don't know, No Man's Sky is a procedurally generated game where you play as a person that's randomly generated on this planet. No two people are ever going to be no two people spawn on the same planet. So this hints it's a multiplayer online experience. You can build a ship, you get in the ship, you can fly straight up, go through the clouds, fly into space, fly through space and get into ship battles and stuff like that, and then fly to another planet, land, get on the planet, explore the planet, and there's no load times. None. No load times at all. This means that the world around you constantly loads without there being any waiting. And we're talking full planets, full space exploration. Like, all real time. My head exploded the first time I saw that game. My head exploded again at when they showed it off at Sony's conference. I want that game so bad. And it looks beautiful, and it just, everything about it sounds like the coolest thing. I am so excited for that game. It is going to be the coolest thing. I want it so bad. And not to mention, the developer of that game, the guy went up there on stage, and the first thing he said was that he was so happy that people were so excited about his game and that he couldn't believe it. Like, the guy looked like he was about to break down. He looks like the most modest, sweet individual that's just overwhelmed by the response to his video game. Everybody needs to buy his game. Everybody needs to buy the game. I guess the company, they had a flood and they lost a lot of data and they lost a lot of work on No Man's Sky. So the fact that they were able to get another working video or demo to show at E3 is really, really amazing. And I can't wait to play that game. I'm going to buy it day one. And yeah, it's going to be amazing. So that one is one of those games I'm so excited for. Another game that they showed off that I'm so excited I can't handle it. Batman Arkham Knight. Holy crap. That game is, it was happening and I'm talking to my friends and I'm just like, guys, I think I'm ready for a next gen console now. But then I noticed it was on PC and I was like, oh, well, I'll just get it for PC then. But anyway, Batman, Kevin Conroy voicing Batman, of course, but just the coolest demo, seeing Batman like fly around like in Arkham City, fine. Then he hits the ground, jumps up, the Batmobile comes in, and he lands in the Batmobile and just takes off and like drives at least a mile, if not 2 miles, and it's just like, you can go anywhere, you can do anything, and then his Batmobile turns into a freaking tank. I want to play that game. Yep, that's another one. Destiny looked really good. I've been excited for Destiny for a while. When I first saw it, I was like, what's so special about this one? It's another Bungie game. It looks like Halo. And then they showed the E3 demo last year, and it was the part where there was a community event where a giant boss came down and everybody in the area has to fight that thing. And when they did that, that was when I was like, okay, you have my attention. So now I'm super excited about Destiny. Evolve is looking really cool. I'm excited to play that game. I know Marv is as well. So we're probably going to do some co-op videos on that one. Co-op and or versus videos on that one. That one's going to be a lot of fun. Far Cry 4 looked really cool. I've never played a Far Cry game. And Far Cry 4 really got me enticed to want to play it. Metal Gear Solid 5. You guys know that Metal Gear Solid is my favorite game of all time. Metal Gear Solid as a series is not my favorite series. I love the first game to death. I think it's one of the greatest games. It is the greatest game of all time, in my opinion. I love that game. Everything about it just seems so good. Metal Gear Solid 2 was a good game with a really convoluted story. Metal Gear Solid 3 has an amazing story, but not necessarily the best gameplay of the series, in my opinion. Metal Gear Solid 4 was a great final act for Solid Snake. And then from there, Peace Walker was pretty good. I liked Peace Walker. I have not been able to get into Big Boss as much as Solid Snake. That just might be my problem. I don't know. I just can't really get into his character as much as I could Solid Snake. Even though I really liked Metal Gear Solid 3. I really liked the story in that one. It's a really good story. But I've just had some trouble getting into his character as a whole. I think Metal Gear Solid 5 looks really amazing. I still haven't played Ground Zeroes, and I'm waiting until 5 comes out because it's pretty inevitable they're going to make a combo that comes with Ground Zeroes and 5, and so that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to get the combo. So it looks really amazing. It looks good, but I want to play Ground Zeroes, and I want to play it, and kind of hopefully I will get into the character of Big Boss. Uncharted 4 was shown off. Again, I haven't played Uncharted, but this might be a good reason for me to play through the first 3. Looks like this one's going to be the last one. They kept replaying this audio of one last time or something like that. So a new Zelda game, and it looks really good. So I have not been the biggest Wii U fan for a while. I thought it was kind of a cheap thing for Nintendo to make a console that's with last gen graphics and, you know, with another kind of gimmick. But I honestly, I think in general the tablet screen thing is a good idea. I just don't think people want to use that when they have a smartphone or they have a tablet already. So I think that the Wii U's idea in itself wasn't bad. It's just getting people to buy it that's the problem. But I do kind of want to get a Wii U now because of the new Zelda game, which looks beautiful. And I love the fact that it kind of looks like it has like kind of this fantasy world, but with sci-fi elements. So it's kind of like they're mixing futuristic with traditional Zelda, and I think it looks really cool. I'm really excited to see that one turns out, because I've always been I really like the Zelda series. I've not played all of them. I've played a few of them, like Ocarina of Time, the original, Link to the Past, and they're really good games, and I really much enjoy them. So I'm really hoping that this one turns out really well. The Evil Within, this is one that I'm probably going to be making videos about when it comes out. This is by the original creator of Resident Evil, and it's about him returning to survival horror. So I'm really hoping that this does well. I would love to see the original Resident Evil creator make a game today that is reminiscent of the original Resident Evil feel. So you guys remember I played Resident Evil, the remake, so I'm super excited to see what happens. Mortal Kombat X, maybe, I never thought I would say this, but Mortal Kombat might have gone off the deep end and be too violent for me. Not too violent, too gruesome. There's, like, I was okay with pretty much everything in there. And I mean, in Mortal Kombat 9, like, Kung Lao does that thing with his blade where he makes it like turn into a saw, and then he cuts a guy in half, and then there's Noob Saibot splitting a guy in half. It's like, oh yeah, that's all fine. But then, who was it, Sub-Zero or Scorpion? One of them got their stomach punched out, and then the guy goes and grabs the spine and breaks it in half. I was like, what? Ew. That's like the first time I've had that reaction to Mortal Kombat of all the Mortal Kombat games. And so I was just like, that's really, ow. So Mortal Kombat, I will play it. I like Mortal Kombat, but my God, they're really going for it this time. And I mean, Mortal Kombat 9 is going for it, but Jesus Christ. Not just like, it's cool, it's awesome, but my God. Halo 5 was announced, and then the Halo Master Chief Collection was announced. Master Chief Collection looks pretty cool. I have Halo Anniversary Edition, I have Halo 2, I have Halo 3, I have Halo 4, and I want Halo 2 Anniversary Edition, and I love the fact that they're bringing all Halos, all the maps, to Xbox Live again, so you can play them all again in HD. That's a really cool thing, because I remember Halo 2 online being such a big deal to all my friends. We played it all the time, and so that really might get me to want an Xbox One. But that's like the only thing that really, that and like Sunset Overdrive, those two games are really the only ones right now that are cooking that make me want an Xbox One. So, but it looks really cool. Assassin's Creed Unity, this is one of the ones that I want to just talk about. Assassin's Creed, I've played the first game and I played the second game. I have Brotherhood, I have Revelations, and I have 3. And then there's 4. 4 more games that I haven't played for Assassin's Creed before this one, which is the 5th one that I will have not played. And I really like how Unity looks. It looks really good. It looks really nice and well polished. And I look at it and I'm like, I want to play that game. But there's 4 games before that that I haven't played. And I just don't want to go through with it. I don't want to push myself through them. So probably I don't know. I feel like I'm just going to drop off Assassin's Creed at this point because it's like I would love to play that game. I'm excited that I'm hoping that it's good, but with how many are already out that I haven't played, it just discourages me from wanting to try it. Smash Brothers, another Wii U title that looks amazing. Mega Man, Mario, Sonic, Pac-Man. That's going to be awesome. They showed off Little Big Planet 3, which looked so adorable, even though the developers couldn't play the game correctly. Actually, I was really happy to see that. I was happy to see them making mistakes and still having a good time. It shows that it's a physics-based game. Not everything is always going to go the way you want it to, and that's great. That's how physics-based games go, and that's how it should be. So, Little Big Planet 3, I was really excited for. Apparently, there's news of a new Star Fox game coming out. I don't know anything about it. I read a little bit on Game Informer. They're saying that this new Star Fox is a little bit of a different break from the traditional Star Fox. It's going to be more open world while you're flying around. So that sounds cool. Last of Us HD was announced. I feel like it's way too soon for a Last of Us HD remake just because it came out, last year? And it's already getting an HD remake or an up-res in 60 frames a second. Okay. Was that really necessary? I love that game. But I'm not buying it again already. No. There's a line, I feel like, of okay, this game's old enough that we should probably do a remake or something like that. 1 year is not enough. 2 years is not enough. It just imagine if J.J. Abrams came out and said, hey, we're going to remake the Avengers. But it came out in 2012. We're making the Avengers again. So what? You going to buy it again? I guess. It's it doesn't make any sense to me. Anyway, okay, we're moving on. The developer of Journey showed off their new game, Abzu, which looks really cool. I haven't played Journey, but it seems like it's a cool dynamic because you have Journey, which was in a dry red desert, and then this one's in a wet blue ocean. So I think it's a really cool dynamic, and maybe they're trying to do this thing where each game they make is kind of based around some element. So you have water, you have dry desert fire, then you have earth, and we'll see about that one. But that looks really cool. Grim Fandango is going to be coming out on PS4, which is awesome. I've never played Grim Fandango, and I really wanted to. I would love to play that game. So the fact that it's coming back out, I guess, is really good. The Order 1866 showed off more footage. I have to say, I'm really impressed by how that game looks, and I really hope that it doesn't suffer from the same thing Watch Dogs did, where they show it off and it looks amazing, and then next year they show it off and it looks worse. So I'm really hoping that the Order 1886 stays looking as amazing as it does. So hopefully. EA showed developer diaries on Mass Effect, which looked really cool. Like what they showed, it was a very little bit. I'm a huge Mass Effect fan, and I really love the world of Mass Effect. Mass Effect is my favorite video game series in terms of story. I think Mass Effect was a great story, and it's one of my favorites, if not my favorite. So I really want to see what happens with the next Mass Effect. I'm hoping that it's just as amazing. So, Limbo developer showed off Inside, which I have been excited about for years. They had a leaked image that came out 2 years ago or 3 years ago, something like that. It's been a while. And it looked really cool, and they finally showed it off, and I was like, eee! So I'm really excited. Limbo was one of my favorite Xbox Live Arcade games. It's one of my favorite indie games of all time. I really can't wait for Inside. The new Tomb Raider was shown. Love Tomb Raider. I know Marv loved Tomb Raider as well. We'll probably both be doing playthroughs of that when that comes out. Mirror's Edge 2 was talked about. I love the first Mirror's Edge. I thought it was a great game with really, really terrible gunplay. I'm hoping that they reduce the amount of gunplay in Mirror's Edge 2 because I think that it shouldn't be a focus at all. So hopefully there's not as much of it and it's a little bit better in that sense. But the wall running and the parkouring, great. That was so good in that game. The last game I want to talk about is Cuphead that they showed off briefly during Microsoft's press conference. It looks like a 40s cartoon, and it's a side scroller. That game, I went and looked up the website afterwards, and it looks amazing. I'm so excited for it. It's just this little blip during the conference, but it caught my eye, and it caught a lot of people's eyes too. A lot of my friends who are into indie games, every one of them are like, "What was that? What was that game?" Oh, it's called Cuphead, and it's just everyone's been exploding about it. So, well, no, they haven't been exploding. Not in that way either. No. You are sick, dirty people. It's okay, I am too. Anyway, so Cuphead looks really cool. I'm really excited for that. There's so many good games. This E3 was really, really good. I was really happy with how this one all turned out. Few missteps here and there, but overall, I thought it was a great show, and I thought that there are so many games coming out. I had not been excited for the current gen of video games at all for the past year. I was worried that the way that video games were going was the wrong direction, and that's why I put so much faith in indie games, which I still do. But this E3 has regained, I have regained faith in where video games are going, and I'm really hopeful and really excited to see what happens. And I'm finally excited for where we are currently in the current gen of video games. So anyway, I have been rambling for so long. I hope you guys enjoyed my ramblings and stuff like that. Let me know what games you were excited for from E3 and games that are coming out and games that maybe I didn't talk about. What games are you excited for? What games did I mention that you're like, no, that game looks terrible? And anything. I want to know your opinion. What games really caught your eye this year at E3? What games are you absolutely thinking are just going to be terrible? What are your opinions? Who won? I don't think anybody won. I think everybody won. I think video games won at E3 this year. I think it was just overall a really good show. So I'm going to need water. So anyway, that will do it for this vlog. Very, very long vlog. I apologize. So thank you all so much for watching. You guys are what make this channel happen, and I thank you very much for that. And I will catch you in the next video.